It must have been hard to watch things back. What surprised you the most about what happened at Tribal Council?
I love watching myself on TV. It wasn't hard at all. It's awesome. Um, the hardest thing about that though was like just not knowing what's going to happen. That's why Survivor is so hard, is that all you can do is just put your faith in other people's hands and just hope that they're telling you the truth. And I have felt that I had done that enough with the numbers to keep myself in the game, which is ultimately why I didn't play my shot in the dark. And in the end, my ass got played.
Now, were you surprised that it was a unanimous vote?
After, no, I wasn't surprised because we have very, very smart players on our
Right.
season. Not to say everyone, other seasons that don't have smart people, but the strategic minds of this game, they knew, like, once they knew Saul was not going to stay, they can't vote whoever, Sue, Kyle, or whatever, because now they have a target on their back. So
Right.
the smart move was to put my name down once they understood that they don't have the numbers.
Now, you were able to watch everything back now. A lot of the things that you didn't see, didn't know about, what surprised you the most about what was going on when it came to your vote?
Uh, Genevieve, like Genevieve did it. I couldn't, I remember, first of all, when I heard that it was me, when Sam told me it was me, my reaction was, I'll do the best that I can. It was like, what? Me? Like that was literally what I did. And then you find out who did it. It's Genevieve at Tribal Council. I'm on my knee on the other side of Tribal Council, whispering, and they tell me Genevieve is responsible for this. And again, it's like, what? Genevieve? Like, because Teeny and I, we wanted to go to the end. We wanted it to be the Lavo 3. And I will say a little bit earlier in the day, Genevieve was acting a little, what all the kids say, sus. And that's when I realized it wasn't that big of a shock when they told me that because she was acting so weird. But yeah, I couldn't. It was like, wow, this
Well, we
just
saw
happened.
your reaction back at Tribal when you were told your name was on the line. You were up. Did you already have a suspicion that's what was happening?
Was what happening?
That you were on the line.
Oh no, I knew before tribal council that
Oh,
yeah, because Sam tells me you're
yeah,
about to have the most important conversation in this game.
yeah,
It is
that's right.
you. Yeah, and that's when I lose it. And like I'm in complete shock because I had amazing relationships with everyone at this point, which I
Right.
thought. And I did. That is true. And that's ultimately why Genevieve, the Terminator that she is, she knew that, okay, Saul is in tight with everybody. I don't think me getting Rome out was the motivating factor here. It was she's a smart, smart player, one of the best Survivor players ever, in my opinion,
Yeah.
and she saw that.
Now, when I spoke to him, I made sure to inform him that an ultimatum is a kind of threat. Okay. Uh,
Yeah.
what are your feelings towards Rome? What was it like watching it back? And where are you guys today?
Rome and I, we hung out at the RHAP event. I haven't talked to him since. But he made my game very, very difficult out there. Enough to the point where that's why I say, I don't know if you remember, but I say Rome's either the worst player or he's one of the best players out here. Because if he has an agenda on his mind, he's going to do everything he can, no matter what the cost, to do that. And I was that person for him. And so it was so hard to play with him.
Well, you must have seen some of the reaction online, when he was following you around, when he made the threats and whatever. What kept you centered and what kept your patience level the way it was? Because you handled that with a lot of grace.
I had to take mental breaks all the
Right.
time.
Yeah.
And I'm saying, like, because of Rome, I'm like meditating all the time. Like I'm talking to myself all the time. Saul, don't go there. Like, be cool, be calm. Like the self-dialogue was going on constantly when Rome was around. And so that ultimately was what paid off for me to keep my cool.
Now, you had a very, on the opposite end of the scale, you had a very strong relationship with Teeny to the point where when you were voted out, she was actually crying. She was that upset. That must have made you, seeing that must have made you very appreciative of your bond with her.
Oh my gosh. Teeny is my best friend in the game. She came over a lot. Her mom came over last night. We
Oh,
watched it together. Uh, she is a beautiful soul and a best friend that I'm going to have for the rest of my life. And yes, I remember watching that and just made my heart melt. Like, and we'll see what happens in the rest of the season for
now,
Teeny.
now you had that special power, and he decided who you were going to give it to. Um, What was it? Why did you make the decision you made? And was it hard to feign that shock and surprise at tribal council? Because you did a really good job as far as we could see.
Thanks, man. So, as far as like, I'm sorry, what was the first part? Who was it? Hard what?
Why did you choose? Why
Oh,
did you
Rachel. That's
choose
right. Yeah.
Rachel? And also, was it hard to keep that a
Yeah.
secret?
So there was actually it was a no-brainer who I was going to give it to because I loved Rachel. Rachel and I, they don't really show it, but we had a great connection. As soon as we hit the merge, Rachel and I were like, boom.
Right.
And so I really wanted to save Rachel. And then the problem was that Rachel decides to have a press conference at Tribal Council and tell everyone, "Hey, I got this from and one of you, somebody from the jury." And it's like, no, that's not what you just say, Jeff. I have the safety without power, and I'm leaving. That's it. We don't need to give any more information away. And so what that did for me, my heart went into my stomach.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, oh, I'm like, oh no, I have to like now I have to act here. And I really just try to do my best to put myself in a situation where I'm one of them and I literally don't know. And yeah, I was proud of myself.
Now, obviously, you're on the jury. You have a very important decision to make. You have a very important voice. What are some of the things that, as a fan of the show and everything, what are some of the things that you were looking for in a winner? What are some of the things you were thinking about and balancing in your mind?
For me, it's playing, it's giving me information like at the final tribal at the final jury. I
Yeah,
want to be mind blown. I want people to tell me things that I had no idea what was going on. And that's for me, that's why I'm kind of setting up like this Saul's Secret Alliance is
right.
that I wanted to go to the end and be like, you didn't know this, but I had this, and get that shock value. I wanted to be shocked. That's my hope at Tribal Council. So I can say, all right, that dude or played an amazing game and did a great job of hiding information.
Now, I ask this of all the survivors I talk to because, again, we only get to see a portion of your journey. We don't get to see everything that you went through. Is there
Yeah.
is there anything like a moment, a strategic moment? It could have been a personal moment. Is there anything you wish that fans would have been able to see about your journey?
Yeah, there's a couple. So when Andy has his meltdown on the first episode
Oh yeah,
at the challenge, my heart like breaks for Andy.
yeah,
Uh and I want nothing more than to go over there and be like, dude, keep your head up, like you got this. And I had that opportunity as I'm walking off. So there's a moment when Jeff goes, "Hey, Lavo, you forgot your flint." And we all stop and I look right at him and I go, "Andy." And he's like, head down, looks up. I'm like, "Keep your head up, dude. You got this." And he smiles and he's like, thanks, dude. And talking to him afterwards, he's like, that's one of the like coolest moments that I've ever had in my life.
yeah.
And that was very, very special to me, because he needed that, I think, in that moment. The other thing I'll say is Teeny and I, she's like someone that, like I said, she's always going to be in my life. And I don't feel like that the audience feels that because we had so many cool, funny, hilarious moments uh, where they didn't show, and it's like we said it last night. We're not yin and yang. We're yin and yang, you know.
Well,
So
Saul,
we
it
just
was,
kind of feed off each other, you know.
yeah. Well, Saul, it was great talking to you. All the best in the future. And who knows, maybe your survivor journey isn't over just yet. You never know.
Bro, put that out there as much as you can because I want it.